A North Texas school board meeting got heated as the board decided on the fate of a black high school principal. The Grapevine Colleyville Independent School District School Board naturally voted to propose the non-renewal of the contract for Dr. James Whitfield. He, of course, the high school principal, has been on paid administrative leave since late August. Of course, people claim that he was teaching critical race theory when he says he wasn't. We had him here on the show discussing that. Whitfield was at last night's meeting. Watch this.
Hello, I'm Dr. James Whitfield, Dr. Ryan, Board of Trustees. I first want to express my gratitude for all the love, support, and encouragement from the community, especially our students who have regretfully been criticized for their speaking up in this matter. I stand before you today no different than I was when I came in 1819. I'm an advocate for all kids. I believe every student, regardless of race, religion, sexual orientation, whatever bucket you want to put them in, I believe they all have access to they should have access to excellent, equitable education. Yes, I said those words. Unfortunately, my unapologetic stance for those things has brought us here tonight, which is disheartening. The attacks from people outside is one thing, but the outright silence and direct actions taken towards me by GCISD leadership team, sorry, trying to get this in, are what's absolutely heartbreaking. I can assure you, I have not changed. I'm still the same man today as when you hired me in 1819. You promoted me twice in 3 years. So I ask you, what has changed since July 26th?
Thank you, Dr. Whitfield.
Dr. Ryan.
Excuse me, please, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Whitfield.
We need. Hey,
Our next speaker.
Wait. We're doing really good, and now we're not. Please stay quiet when we are changing speakers, please, so we can continue to run the open forum. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Dr.
Colley.
Whitfield. Our next speaker is Carrie Whitfield. Please come to the podium, state your name, and if you're a resident of GCISD.
Hi, my name is Carrie Whitfield. Dr. Ryan and members of the board. I stand before you this evening, the wife of James Whitfield and the mother of a GCISD third grade student. My husband is an amazing man. He is kind to all. He's an amazing father and husband. He's a phenomenal educator. He loves the community he serves. Each member of his staff, every one of his students would run through a brick wall for him. And as you've seen for the last several weeks, they will also do it for him. He loves them and he loves them right back. I am heartbroken at the actions taken by individuals who clearly do not know my husband and clearly do not have a true connection with Colleyville Heritage High School. But what has been more devastating is to watch individuals in leadership positions in this room who know my husband's heart, yet side with these very people. You know better, and my hope is that you'll do better. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Whitfield. Our 21st speaker.
Now, that was Principal Whitfield and his wife. Now, the district said the decision has nothing to do with allegations he was teaching critical race theory or his wife's social media photos that officials found questionable. Now, last night, dozens of students and activists showed up to support Whitfield, and some were kicked out of the meeting.
Out. You can pull all these people out, but you can pull ours out. I know. They pulled out a black man, but they're going to let all these other people that got all these other screen print shirts stay in there. Kristen! Discrimination.
This is First Amendment rights, and this is a corporation. The message that we are trying to get across is inclusion. This is not anything about separation, nothing about segregation. This district is showing itself today.
And they showed us since we walked up here.
They don't like us, but we're here to stay, baby. Where's Kristen?
I don't know.
Okay, because you have to get your directive from her, correct?
She ran
away. She ran away, and I don't understand why. If they can't tell us why we can't wear these shirts without telling us that it is because it is a black organization.
Just relax just a second.
Don't tell me to relax.
Okay. First off, I'm Alex Smith. I'm the director of the security and the school security here in the emergency management.
Okay.
So the decorum rules that were set forth.
Okay.
Have you received those?
No, I received them. It's an unofficial document, but okay.
Okay, so you have received the decorum.
The unofficial document, yes.
This is the decorum rules.
The unofficial document.
That does not specify
A
what you
date.
consider signage. It does not. It does not specify anything about
You
signage.
cannot disrupt the meeting that's going on right in there right now.
But we
Or
can't
you'll
go
be-
in.
I don't believe we're in that.
We're not. We didn't discuss it.
Print shirts. This is not signage. This is a company logo.
The disruption. The disruption.
This is a company logo.
What attorney?
Kristen? You don't know because he ain't talked to no attorney.
So then tell us the distinction between signage. If you can tell us, because it doesn't say it on there.
Definition of
Says
signage.
apparel as signage is what it
So what is that definition?
Okay, so your name tag, that's signage, right?
Right, you can't go in there.
is. I'm not going to argue that difference.
You can't go in there.
So you're not sure.
So then pull every picture out. Pull everything out.
Anything that has writing on it, there's signage. Makes no sense.
Unfair. It was very quiet before we were forced to be moved out of the building.
Ain't nobody.
There were no
We hadn't
issues.
caused no problems. We hadn't said nothing to nobody. We hadn't made
Very
any
quiet.
noise.
We weren't even going to go in there. We were going to let our director of security go in there and stay in there. That's what we wanted. That's what we wanted. We didn't all want to go in.
Okay, now I'm confused. Joining me now from Dallas, Texas, is Dominique Alexander, president of Next Generation Action Network. Dominique, so they determined that there cannot be signage, so they concluded that a T-shirt with the organization's name was signage. So by that, if NAACP members showed up, they would say, oh, you have signage, so therefore you can't go into the meeting.
Their policy was so contradictory, and one of the things that we had our organization's attorneys there, and what ended up happening is because that man said that on that video, they end up having to go in there and go get people who had even the school district shirts on and tell them they had to leave, right? And I said, okay, clearly your policy was not intended to disparage against someone wearing an organization, or was it for somebody that is wearing a T-shirt that says something, right? And yet they referenced the last meeting where some right-wing supporters wore a T-shirt. Well, these right-wing supporters was wearing shirts talking about NCRT. That has nothing to do with a organizational logo, in which caused so much confusion, but clearly the policy was left to their own interpretation.
All right, so here's where it's still confusing. Why in the hell they're not going to renew his contract? So if it has nothing to do, I love this. Well, because he talked about, he did interviews after the fact. Yeah, after the dude was put on administrative leave. They still won't answer why he was put on administrative leave.
And when we submitted the letter asking them about the reason why he was terminated, they put the same reply. But I'm gonna tell you, Roland, last night hearing the lady say the reason to the board was so hard to keep your composure, right? Because it was so much loaded mess to where they lied on so many different things. When he had the meeting with the superintendent on August 11th, he literally left the school and went there. His secretary called him and said that the superintendent had canceled the meeting, and he ended up having to meet with his executive director, and his executive director had put him on paid administrative leave, right? Last night meeting, they said that he had the meeting with the superintendent. And yet one of the board members say, okay, did he have the meeting or not? Because I'm hearing that he didn't have the meeting. So, clearly they literally cave to these racist supremacists. And Roland, I have to remind you that this is right down the street from Carroll ISD, South Lake Carroll, that is literally on national news right now. This is the same pretty much neighborhood that's next door from each other. So this is a real growing issue.
Well, first of all, I know the area very well. It is there. So, you ain't got to remind me. I know. And exactly also what kind of school district this is, the income of that school district, and the racial makeup of that particular school district. And what we are seeing is we're seeing these right-wing MAGA fanatics all across America who are attacking school boards, school districts, administration, and staff because they are falling for the okie doke on this made up BS dealing with critical race theory. That's what we're dealing with.
Correct. And one of the things I want to note, Roland, and shout out to you continuing to give this platform. A couple of years ago, you had me on the show talking about when a guy asked for my removal from a chief of police interview panel. And I said something at the end of the interview that ended up becoming on the New York Times. And it said that I would never ask for permission for the oppressor to liberate my people. And what prompted them to say something to NGA members about the shirt is that I put that quote on the back of the shirt or whatever and stuff like that. And that quote was originally said on Roland Martin Unfiltered. And that's what triggered them to say, and basically like, oh, they gotta go. They gotta move that shirt and different things of that nature. But just like you said, critical race theory is some made up term that, quite frankly, Roland, you asked me 7 months ago, I wouldn't even know what you was talking about.
Well, it shows you what's going on here. Unfortunately, this brother is left in a lurch. We had him here on the show. It was a trip when he was on here saying that he had some of these white people saying he hates white people, and he said, my wife is white and my mama is white. The dude is biracial.
Well, you know, at the end of the day, let's speak truth to power, right? Historically, a white man has never wanted to see a black man kissing another white woman like that. You know what I mean? And clearly, they posted this picture of him kissing his white wife continuously on social media as if it was a problem, right? And yet at the end of the day, we are dealing with racist bigots that this school district has failed to stand up on. And I want people to understand with this critical race theory situation, out of all 7 cases that we've had to respond, because we've had to go all across the state of Texas to respond and defend black professionals because of this. Majority of them, all of them that we have responded to are either principal level or central staff. The last case was Mansfield, a director of diversity of inclusion. They are literally going from school district, funded by a private foundation to create this mess, to create this discord in our school districts. And we need people to be vigilant. We need people to be involved in their local school board to protect your children, to protect their future. Because right now, our American school systems are really under attack. And shout out to Dr. Whitfield's students, because if that man didn't say anything last night at that school board meeting, the words of his children showed the impact that he has on those kids. And no one else had to say anything but those children, because they spoke powerfully.
Well, actually, it's a lot of folks were there standing up for him, and so it certainly was great to see as well. Dominic Alexander, we appreciate it. We'll see what happens next with this story.
Thank you, man.
Thanks a lot. Folks, back to our Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment.
It's time to be smart.
Roland Martin's doing this every day.
Oh, no punches!
Thank you, Roland Martin, for always giving voice to the issues.
Look for Roland Martin in the whirlwind, to quote Marcus Garvey again.
The video looks phenomenal, so I'm really excited to see it on my big screen.
Support this man, Black Media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
See, this difference between Black Star Network and Black-owned media and something like CNN.
I got to defer to the brilliance of Dr. Carr and to the brilliance of the Black Star Network.
I am rolling with Roland all the way.
Honored to be on a show that you own. A black man owns the show.
Folks, Black Star Network is here.
I'm real revolutionary right now. Roland was amazing on there.
Hey, Black, I love y'all.
I can't commend you enough about this platform that you've created for us to be able to share who we are, what we're doing in the world, and the impact that we're having.
Let's be smart. Bring your eyeballs home.
You can't be Black-owned media and be scared.
You dig?